Good evening, Fernwood. My name's Neil. Thanks for coming on down to spend a little time with me while I trek my way through the entire series of Mary Hartman. Mary Hartman, a sly and silly soap opera from the 1970s, 1976 to be exact. We are heading up to the April 16th, 1976 episode. Let's do a little bit of recapping what has happened recently. At the beginning of last episode, Mary and Loretta were getting set for Loretta to go off to Hollywood to be on the Dinah show. Loretta is just maybe a little bit nervous, and Mary is, encouraging her. At the same time, Mary seems to feel Loretta may leave Mary behind after she discovers stardom. We'll see what happens there, but I don't think that's the case. Then we get a visit from Roberta Wallachek, who is dealing with Mary wanting to leave Stet. That comes to the point where Otto Feuerbach comes in, the founder of Stet, to assure Mary that she will be joining Stet. During that exchange, Mary reveals to Roberta, pretty much offhandedly, that Dennis and Kathy are getting married, after which Roberta leaves real quick. Then we come over to Hollywood. We actually see Loretta and Charlie in Hollywood in the green room having the very typical why is this room not green situation. And then we close on a scene with Loretta backstage just before she's about to go on to the Dinah show and, desperately calling Mary in the age before cell phones, desperately calling Mary to just hear her voice and get a little bit of reassurance. Mary seems to take that kindly because she was very much on the road to missing Loretta, and I think this made Mary's friendship to Loretta just feel a lot more secure. So that is what we've got. I expect that we're going to see some of that performance of Loretta on the Dinah show. Let's find out as we jump into April 16th, 1976's episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman! Mary, I just came over to find out if you felt better than you did last night.
I'm fine, Ma. I'm just fine. I had a little visit from Roberta and Otto Feuerbach,
Who?
the people from Stet. And then I took a few pills that Dr. Furman gave me, and then I folded a few grocery bags, and then I found another pill of Heather they gave her when she was hyperkinetic, and then now I'm relining the shelves.
But you just relined your shelves last week.
Did I? Oh, that's why the pattern looks different. Well, I'm relining them again. See? All fresh.
Mary, Mary, I want to know how things are this morning between you and Tom.
I'm fine, Ma. I'm just fine. Tom went to work at the plant. I am here in the kitchen, and we said goodbye at the door.
But he was so upset, and you were so upset.
Ma, it is probably just the mineral wastes, you know? There is a lot of mineral waste in the water. You have to remember, these are the 1970s. We have to be thankful that we're just functioning.
I suppose.
You know what else I did? I did the dishes. I made my shopping list. I made my grocery list. I have hamburger helper. I have tuna helper. I have helper.
But Mary, do you really think they help? Because just look at you.
I'm not depressed, Ma. I managed to get out of bed. And I remember that Loretta's about to be on TV. I mean, that, to me, is such a lift. I mean, that a neighbor of mine, a friend, has actually broken out of this rut.
Oh, yes, I can hardly believe it.
Shh! time for the Dinah Show.
After all this time, Mary, Loretta and Charlie finally on their way.
You know, Ma, it gives us all hope that if you believe, that if you really have faith in yourself, you can make it. I mean, your life can amount to something. I don't mind telling you that this is just about the only thing this week that has really kept me going.
And now it's time for Dinah Show. Today's guests are Robert Redford, Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, Joe Namath, and the entire New York Jets team, Dr. Elvin Cave, plus country and western singer Loretta Hagers. And we'll be right back following these important messages.
Imagine that. Dinah sure has been on all these years, and this is her first live program. This is bigger than the astronauts. My friend, Loretta Hagers, is making history today.
Hi there. Welcome back. Right now, I'm sitting here with Dr. Elvin Cave. Welcome. He's the author of this fascinating new book, Bone Surgery, Its Impact on the Inner City. Dr. Cave, I just want to say welcome to you, and I want you to know that I have read your book, and it was, I found it fascinating. Yeah.
Why, thank you, Dinah. I felt it was a subject that was on everyone's mind.
Well, yes, I'm sure it is, Dr. Cave, but I was wondering what prompted you to write the book?
Well, Dinah, have you ever had bone surgery?
No, I can't, no, I haven't.
Well, have you ever lived in the inner city, which is the honkies' euphemism for the ghetto?
Well, no, I can't say that I've done that either, no.
Well, a young black patient of mine...
Doctor, we're on national television, you know.
A young black patient of mine once said to me, she said, she couldn't imagine what it would be like to live outside of the inner city and not be facing bone surgery. Well, I thought about that. And I realized that there were so many people that didn't understand, and that's why I wrote the book.
Well, that is fascinating, Doctor. Now, will you just hold your thought for a moment, because my next guest is out here, and I just know she'll want to be a part of this discussion. You don't mind, do you? Because she's fascinating. She has never lived in the ghetto either, I might say, but I'm sure you're going to be delighted to meet her. You're in for a great treat. This young lady, she is a wonderful new country singer, country and western talent, and later on in the show, she'll be sharing one of her favorite recipes with us. But right now, I'd like a warm, all-American welcome from Miss Loretta Hagers. Have you met Dr. Cave? Did you meet backstage?
No, actually, we did not get a chance to meet, but, Doctor, I have read all of your books, and I would like to say that I do feel that bone surgery is a major grave problem in the country.
You do feel that major bone, well, you write most of your own songs, don't you, Loretta?
That is correct.
Have you ever written a song about bone surgery?
No, Dinah, I have not. However, I did have a little unfortunate auto mishap a few weeks back, and I don't want to sadden your television audience or anything, but I was put temporarily in a wheelchair. And through that experience, I did write a song called Ballad of a Legless Woman.
Loretta, have you ever been to the inner city?
Well, to be perfectly frank with you, Dinah, I'm not quite sure which city the good doctor is referring to. You see, I haven't lived in a city that had both an inner and an outer.
That's funny. You've never lived in a city that had an inner and an outer.
No. See, my cities that I have lived in have just basically had one main street, and that's about it.
Well, then you don't understand the osteopathic problems of black people in this country.
But
Well, now, I have watched Good Times, and I watched That's My Mama when it was on the air.
Does the term collective guilt have any meaning for you whatsoever?
well, now, wait, Dr. K, please. Now, surely you're not going to blame this lovely Loretta Haggis for all the people who have had to have bone surgery in the inner city. You don't feel she should share the guilt or responsibility for those, do you, Doctor? No.
Oh, well, Dinah, if I might, I'd like to answer that. I do know, and I have had some experience with the term collective guilt, oddly enough. This auto mishap that I previously referred to involved collective guilt.
Really?
Yes, my husband and I, Charlie Haggers, had this auto mishap with a station wagon full of delightful, lovely nuns. And I personally felt extremely guilty about this. And of course, my husband Charlie felt guilty because he happened to be driving at the time, although the accident was no fault of his own.
Of course it wasn't. And Charlie, now, I understand that he is the subject of your latest big hit record. Is that right?
Yes, he is, and he's just a doll.
Is he sweet? I bet.
He is. And I call Charlie and the song both my big old baby boy.
Oh, that's really sweet. How about singing it for us now?
Donna, thank you so much for asking me. I just love to.
That's why we want you.
Hit it, Richie. Well, I never will forget the first time that we met dancing squares in a do-si going at the VF Hall. You was old as my pappy, but that didn't make me unhappy. You was cute as a Dickens, just a doll. Had no hair on your head, but a lot above your lip. You was all dressed up in cowboy corduroy. Felt my soul start crashing and my heartstrings and lashing. I knew I'd found my baby boy. Baby boy, baby boy. Sweet Charlie, you're my big old baby boy. Well, you're my life and you're my joy. You're my precious bedtime toy. Sweet Charlie, you're my big old baby boy. And later on that night you asked me, would it be alright if you took me for a bite to the tasty freeze? Well, we shared some chunky tuna, then we smooched under the moon, and I knew forever we'd be thick as fleas. And then quicker than a wink I said, now baby boy, I think it's time we tied knots, said nuptial vows. Oh, my folks cried cradle robber, I said, please, he's my heart throbber. The Lord wants us together here and now. Baby boy, baby boy. Sweet Charlie, you're my big old baby boy. Well, you're my life and you're my joy. You're my precious bedtime toy. Sweet Charlie, you're my big old baby boy. And now every single day I count my blessings and I say, thank you, Lord, for sending me my baby boy. For life with him's a pleasure, and there's no way I can measure all the love I feel inside for baby boy. And I just found out today that our baby's on the way, an expression of our love and of our joy. Though a girl would be delighting, oh, it sure would be exciting to have my baby boy's baby boy. Baby boy, baby boy, baby boy. Sweet Charlie, you're my old baby boy. Well, you're my life and you're my joy. You're my precious bedtime toy. Sweet Charlie, you're my big old baby boy. Oh, sweet Charlie, you're my big old baby boy. Oh, sweet Charlie, you're my big old baby boy.
Isn't she wonderful? She's just so natural. Well, you know, Dinah's been doing shows for years. Oh, no, not Dinah, Loretta. Look at her. She seems like a star. I'm so happy. do come true.
Oh, it does. Wait, the commercial's over now. She's coming back.
And now, back to Dinah and her first live broadcast.
I just can't get over that's your first record, and it's such a big, wonderful song.
Thank
And
you.
you wrote it yourself. Well, now, I did promise everybody that we were going to get to your sweet potato pie. Let's get right with it, shall we?
Okay.
Now, we have 2 very large sweet potatoes, haven't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And
Oh, excuse me. We'll get right to it, but I just have to do something. Though we had to leave earlier in the show, I want to thank the very wonderful Joe Namath for taking time out from his many knee injuries to model pantyhose for us today. Thank you so much, Joe. You are dear. Now, where were we?
Donna, we was just mashing the heck out of these sweet potatoes.
They really
So,
did, too.
yeah, they do, honey. You
What?
gotta have them mashed up real good here.
Yeah. Did we cook them long enough with that?
I think so. I believe they're real mashy here.
Yeah.
All right, now, then after that, Dinah, you throw in, you add sugar, you add your nutmeg, you add your cinnamon. Got lots of
But
cinnamon.
first, we have to preheat that oven, don't we, to what?
450, Dinah.
400.
Thank you for reminding me.
450 degrees?
That's right.
That's a hot one.
It is, Donna. It's very hot. Now, let's see.
Yeah.
We add our salt here and our vanilla extraction.
Yeah.
You just kind of ad lib on the vanilla extraction
Yeah.
because who knows?
Who knows? You just need a lot of eggs.
And 3 unbeaten eggs.
3 unbeaten
You
eggs.
do not beat
Do
them
not
prior.
beat the eggs, okay? But now, may I ask you something? Is this one of your favorite country recipes from your childhood?
It is, Dinah. There was 14 of us that Mama raised, and of course that was in the days before your big welfare payments. So we had to watch each and every penny, you know. And oh, hun, we just cooked and created and experimented with inexpensive food recipes. And of course that was also, before packaged food came in.
Yeah.
So we just did with what we had, and this is our very favorite recipe, these country vittles sweet potato pie, and you're gonna love it.
It sure looks really good.
Well, thank you, Dinah. And now we're just gonna add our melted butter. Oh, excuse me.
No, that's
Dinah,
all right.
did I get it on you?
No,
I'm sorry.
it didn't quite get all the way
It's
down.
not quite as melted as we'd anticipated, is it?
No, it sure. That's all right.
But it'll just mesh on in here.
What you want
And
to use?
then some sweet milk here.
What have you been taking in all the sights of Hollywood since you've been here?
Just as soon as we have a chance, we're gonna Busch Gardens. We're gonna go to the Hollywood Wax Museum of Stars and stuff.
Have you seen any movie stars since you've been here?
Well, we hadn't been to the Wax Museum yet, but we're planning on it. And, of course, mainly so far, Dinah, this has been a business trip. I'm very excited about what I'm going to do this afternoon. It is an autograph session of my records at one of your bigger department stores in Los Angeles, Zodi's. And,
Great.
well, that's where Debbie Reynolds does all of her shopping. And, of course, except for the things that she don't make on her singer-sewing machine.
Loretta, this is.
And, of course, I also plan on hopefully signing with the entertainment agency.
Oh, that would really be wonderful. Everybody needs a really good agent. I just wonder, should we pour this in here now?
We should, Dinah, but first I just want to take this beater and just whoop the daylights out of this.
But you have had a good time since you've been out here, haven't you, Loretta?
Oh, I have. I really have.
Just speak a little bit. That's good because
I
the
think
makes so
that'll
much.
do it. Yeah,
Okay,
I
that's
think
good.
that will do it.
Okay, now we just pour.
Right.
All
And
right,
I want to
in this
say,
process.
Dinah, that the people out here have just been so fabulous. You're a wonderful. I know. I guess we made a little extra.
Yes, that's all right. Yeah. Now, do you have any plans? Do you have any plans for the future, Loretta?
Dinah, I've got just tons of them. I've got tons of plans. Right now, while we're out here, there is a deal currently in the making of a chance for me to appear. We've been talking to the wonderful Mr. Marvin Goldstein, and I just might possibly get to appear at his Blue Peacock Casino in Las Vegas
Oh,
for 3 weeks singing engagement.
That would be just wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, listen, do you mind if we just put this aside because we know we have just a little bit too much, and just get it out of the way for a second.
That's fine.
Because I do want to chat with you just a little bit more. If I could. You know, all this newfound success isn't going to change you any. Do you think or anything?
I surely hope it does. Yes.
Well, now before we started the program, we made a duplicate sweet potato pie from Loretta's recipe, which is supposed to bake for 450 degrees for an hour and 25 minutes.
That's right.
My goodness. Well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
That is correct, Donna. This is the sweet potato pie, hun, and done to a nice turn. And once that smoke clears, hun, it is gonna be some dandy eating for
Oh,
you.
that is good. I think I'll just put this right over here with that. What do you think? And then we'll have a good time after the show. We have a little. Well, this is all wonderful news, and I'm just so glad it's happening to you. I'm just sure all our viewers are as excited for you as we are. I'm really happy for you, Loretta.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, Dinah, what I do want to say to you is that everybody on your show has been so wonderful
Oh, they're nice people.
in making
Proud
this
of them.
trip, because I was a little nervous, you know.
Well, sure.
And,
It's your first appearance.
Yeah, and they've just been so terrific. Like one of your people on your staff, Mr. Raskin, came out and met me at the airport in a limousine. I thought somebody died. It was a thrill, you know.
Excuse me, Loretta, just for a moment. Well, you know, everybody here, I just have to move this a little bit. I'll just find a little place for. She like. I just didn't want anything to interrupt because I do want everybody. We do have a wonderful group of people, and I'm
Yeah,
very proud of
but we're going to be eating that later.
Oh, I wouldn't miss that. No.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I didn't mean it.
That's all right. Anyway, Mr. Raskin was so fabulous. He took me over to this fabulous Beverly Hills salon
Oh, yeah.
to get my hair done. Mr. Julius?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Mr. Julius took a look at me and he said, I don't believe it'll take about a week to fix it and I can't touch it for a month. But Mr. Raskin said, you touch it now.
Just do it right now.
And he did it, and don't it look nice?
I just love it. I just love all those curls and they're so
Well, Mr. Julius wanted to cut them curls off, but Mr. Raskin said, don't you do it.
Don't touch them.
No, and he got me with my dress,
It's
he got
just
me a
so
car. He was
pretty.
he is the nicest man, the nicest.
You know, you are just going to find that people in show business are as nice and warm and sweet in their own way as the folks back home. You know that.
Well, I know it's true, Dinah. And also you have that wonderful producer, Mr. Tanner Schwartz. And you know, I was talking to the makeup man, and he says to me, you know, he said, they's all Jewish. He said that, and you know, Mr. Tanner Schwartz was so nice to me, Dinah. I was back in that yellow room, or whatever that room
The
back
green
there.
room. We have the green room.
And he was just as friendly as he could be and telling me what to chit-chat about and everything, you know.
No, they are
Just
nice.
so-
They are really nice people. I'm so proud of our whole staff. They're just darling people. They
I know.
really are.
I mean, I just couldn't believe that his was the people that what killed our Lord, you know.
The remarks made by Miss Shore's guest do not reflect the opinions of Miss Shore, her producers, this station, or the United States of America. Please stand by.
What? Oh no, I need to do this after scene. I'm just gonna hold the credits. She was doing so great there. Youch. Youch, youch. I don't know how to follow that. So I'll cut back to the beginning. Mary, I think the thing they were trying to set up there is that the medications that she has been improvising on herself are definitely having some kind of very odd effect where, she repapers she relines the cabinets like more than once in a week, which, I don't think she lined those cabinets correctly this time, so I don't know how that works. But, typically one whole roll of liner is not how you do that. Loretta was so good on the show up until her anti Semitic exclamation there. I was really enjoying myself, and I'm really seeing. Well, I don't, I don't think her career is going anywhere soon after that. And she's such a sweetheart, but definitely that's just straight up anti-Semitic. And I don't know how to address that. I think in terms of the show, you can play it that she's ignorant, which, she's been shown to be not insensitive to individuals, but led by her faith in a way that might not be reasonable. I don't know if yeah, I mean, Doretta Dareem is following that. She's definitely apt to follow after church Christian related things and not necessarily think too hard on them or reflect on them too much. Just to accept the things that she hears. That's something that she has been shown to do. And clearly, the show does not approve of anti Semitism. Like, it's meant to be offensive in the way that 1970s comedy definitely was exploring. Whew. That's something that, that's in that Mel Brooks line of like, youch. I mean, Mel Brooks's stuff is funny, and I did laugh at this. I have to say I don't approve of that thought line. Of course, it is meant in good humor, and by that I mean the people who wrote it. You know, well, I can't speak for them. Let's just say that, well, this could have been Loretta's jumping off point, but it really looks like it was her jumping off point. That was our April 16th, 1976 episode of Mary Hartman. Mary Hartman, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me, and we will see you next week in Fernwood.